I can speak on some very, very privileged information right now that I think is going to set the internet on fire because all right, let me break this down for you. A guy comes to my front door, and I didn't actually even know, but my girl was communicating with him through the box in the front of our house with the camera. She texts me. She says, a dude is here from the FBI, and basically he's trying to serve you with a subpoena. And so she told him, like a ride or die would, she told him, Adam's not here, and he's off at work or whatever. I forget what she told him. And so I immediately hop on the line with my lawyer. I say, what should I do? I don't want to, handle this situation wrong. Over and over and over, I've sat down with rappers or whoever who tell me about situations in which they divulge too much information to the police or whoever, and it ended up coming back to bite them. Especially, something that comes to mind is like Hurricane Chris, who caught a body that was blatantly self-defense. Soon as the cops come, he airs out his whole situation and ends up quite to haunt him because the state ends up trying him. So if he had not made all those statements to the cops right after he had killed this dude, then it for sure would have been a way easier case for him to beat. Now, that being said, I'm not really that worried because I know that I myself haven't been involved in any criminality, but I figured I would have my lawyer take care of it. So my lawyer reaches out to the guy who came to my door. She assures me that she's going to be able to ask the FBI agent a handful of questions, and from that information be able to ascertain, is Adam in trouble? Is Adam going to be, forced to hand over a crazy amount of information? Because that was kind of lingering around in my head is like, God, this is going to be a huge pain in the ass if they want to confiscate all the computers and everything in here. We're going to have to buy a bunch of computers to use.
Where's the furnace set to start the furnace up, guys?
I don't know. I was considering that. I have not destroyed any information for the record. But this is the thing that my lawyer comes back to me with. She said the feds were interested in one thing and one thing only. Because in my head, I'm thinking they're going to want copies of the podcasts that Brick or Luce were on. They're going to want to make sure that there wasn't anything in those podcasts that was edited out. Now, anybody who knows me and No Jumper knows that we really don't like to edit things out. So the only stuff we're editing out is if it's like a 4-alarm fire, like, yo, we need to take this out. So I don't think there's ever been something that Brick or Luce told us that they needed us to edit out. But the one thing that the feds wanted was the cease and desist from Big U to No Jumper, asking us to take down the episode in which Luce Cannon first made the explosive statements that suggested that Big U had previous knowledge of Nipsey Hussle's death. Now, that situation is very much outside of what was mentioned in the indictment. In the indictment, there's nothing about Nipsey. There's nothing about any of that stuff. So this to me is kind of massive because it makes me feel like, oh, the FBI is interested in what Big U's involvement in Nipsey's death might be, which to me seems gigantic. I don't know why that cease and desist is not going to help them prosecute Brick Baby or Luce Cannon or anybody else. But the fact that they're interested in that, to me, adds quite a bit of credibility to the argument that perhaps Nipsey Hussle's death was a more complicated situation than it appears to be.
Well, isn't that when this
gave it to him though?
Isn't
We did hand it over, yep.
isn't this when
Of course
that
you did. You didn't think
that
he wasn't?
I mean, really, like,
So it's safe to say you the feds.
I'm happy to help the feds with talking
God
about a document that
damn.
we have previously discussed on here over and over, and which doesn't implicate anybody that I know or whatever. It's not like I know about Big U doing something illegal. Big U did something perfectly legal by sending over a document to us asking us to remove a piece of content. Now, for the record, it doesn't mean that this means that there's a full-scale investigation into Big U's involvement
So
in
you
this situation.
you don't feel like you played no part in them getting booked at all?
No,
Like
not really.
with the shit they set up here and you clipping it up. I mean, I get you live and people might be able to screen record, but some of the shit these niggas is saying, you sitting back, like even the feds probably like, I can't believe like these niggas is this dumb.
Well,
Then you clip it up
I
to
mean,
reiterate what they said
my
instead of
attitude is basically if somebody comes on the podcast and they want to live their truth, they want to talk about the things that they've been through, then it's none of my business to dig through each podcast and figure out what's criminal, what might come back to get them. Because let's be real, this is hip hop where a huge percentage of people's lyrics, songs, etc., are basically putting them in the mix and acknowledging that they've been involved with crimes. And, you know, when I'm sitting there and Loose Cannon's saying, because keep in mind, this is my first time even understanding that Big U might have had any involvement in any street stuff still, when Loose Cannon's sitting there and saying, yeah, me and Big U went to this weed spot and we got all this money out of them, and then Big U didn't split the money up fairly and yada, yada. I'm sitting there thinking, Big U's on that?